Hello and welcome back to the I'm Hungry podcast. After a while,
A while.
we had a good streak going there, but
We
then
did.
shit
We
happened.
did. Yeah.
I was in Cabo. When was the last one? Before spring break?
Yes. Okay, so
Damn,
that wasn't that long ago.
it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But still,
Yeah.
though, a lot happened in
Oh.
these past 2 weeks. I would say for me.
So how, like what? Like what?
Well, first I went to Cabo, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Cabo was nuts. Cabo is pretty crazy. Like I have a story, so like multiple stories about Cabo. So here's the deal. I'm like it was my girlfriend's like sort of place with her family that they had there, and they
Yeah.
invited me to like go have a vacation there for the spring break. It was me, my girlfriend, her sister, like and some of her friends.
Okay.
Excuse me. And at the airport, when we were flying out there at Sky Harbor Airport, I used a Bank of America ATM and my card info got hacked.
What?
Like my debit card information got stolen from that
Wait,
ATM. I'm almost certain. There was no other place I used it.
how
Um,
does an ATM, how does someone set up an ATM to do, like, how do you, I
I
didn't
don't
know that
know.
was
I don't know, but like maybe it's the airport workers. I like was talking to people and like they said that like that's happened to their parents. Like yeah, it happens.
Wow. That's crazy.
Because like the airport workers they're just around all the time, so I guess like they're just like yo trying to make some side hustle because so many people just pass through it, you know what I mean?
But how does that work? They mess with the card reader or something, or they mess with the
Yeah, something like
ATM?
that.
Whoa.
They bug it. If it's a
So
Wi-Fi
what
like
what
operated one,
happened?
maybe they can just like hack it.
Yeah. What happened?
But yeah, they stole my debit card information and they tried to buy like $68 of like maybe it was probably a video game I think off of PlayStation, like off the PlayStation network using PayPal, and they called me and they were like, "Hey, we discovered fraudulent activity on your card." And I was like, "No, no, no, I'm just in Mexico, like it's fine." And they were like, "No, like this." And I was like, "Whoa, that's not me." And yeah, so like it was pretty funny. Uh but like not funny at the same time because I was like, "Holy shit, like I actually have fraud on my card. I'm in Mexico." They were telling me that if I tell them that it's actually fraud, that they are like required by like code of their job to shut my like card down. And I was like, I'm in Mexico, like you can't do that. I'd be stranded with no money. Like, um, so I convinced them. I like convinced the guy to talk to his boss and give me an hour to like run down to an ATM and like get withdraw my entire bank account,
Wow.
my checking and like cash. So yeah, that was nuts. And then
That's crazy.
here's the real kicker: the resort we were staying at, because COVID's pretty bad down there. They didn't take cash.
So did you have to like have your friends do it
Yeah. Like
and
my
then pay them
girlfriend
in
paid for
cash?
like a lot of shit for me, and I paid her back. I paid her back right after the trip, like right when I got back, right when I got my new debit card. But yeah, so that was like so ass. And then yeah, other than that, it was pretty all right. Um, yeah, we spent a lot of time at the beach. Cabo, super nice, super beautiful. It was pretty dope. It was pretty dope.
That's awesome.
Did a little partying at some of the little beach clubs.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was a good time. I'm
Cool.
glad I went, and especially because I'll definitely be more prepared next time.
Well, but I mean, how can you be prepared for an ATM to steal your debit card information?
I'm just gonna get the cash out beforehand. I don't know.
But like nobody does that on a trip, you know. No one like takes out a bunch of cash from their account unless something like that happens, you know.
I don't
It's
know. I
hard to
like
predict.
yeah. But yeah, it was nuts. I don't know. I'm gonna try to be better prepared at least. I guess. Like not
I
use
think
airport ATMs. I won't do that.
not use airport ATMs.
Do not use airport ATMs.
Word of advice from the I'm hungry team.
If that's the one thing that you learned from this podcast, it might save you a whole lot of headache. But
That sucks. Yeah.
that would
That's the very first thing
Yeah, like
at
literally first day. I was so pissed.
that's that's so annoying.
Yeah. And especially because, like, if I had access to my debit card, we could have done so much more shit because we would have had more money.
Yeah. Dang.
Um, yeah. But it's whatever. It's whatever. I'm glad I went. I had a good time. What'd you do over spring break?
Not much except the end of the week I went to Pine. Oh, oh, I'm tired. I went to Pine with some friends, uh, and apparently Pine is different than Pine Top. Did you know
Pine?
that?
There's like a
There's a
city
place,
called Pine.
yes,
Oh.
and a place called Pine Top as well.
Yeah, I knew there was Pine Top. I've never heard of Pine. Are
Yeah,
they
Pine is
related?
its own thing. It's very tiny.
Are they
So
re-
it's like it's basically Pace, an outlet of like an outpost of Payson.
So it's like a Payson suburb?
Yeah.
That's rural as shit. What the hell? Like, I just imagine it's like probably it looks like a western town. Like,
Yeah, it's like one road
yeah,
and buildings on either side, and that's it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Pine, huh?
Yep. It's nice. It's pretty. And one of my friends had a cabin up there, so we stayed there and just did like board games and
How much do you
went
think a
to
cabin in Pine is?
I don't know, probably pretty expensive.
You think?
Well,
Was it like a nice ass cabin?
yeah, it was a nice cabin.
Okay, so the
It was
cabin
like
probably expensive. But
it
how
was like
much like
fancier.
I guess
It
how
was like
much do you think?
fancier than my house.
Oh shit, that's dope.
Yeah.
How
So
much do you think land is in Pine?
no clue.
Yeah,
Absolutely no clue. I have no experience whatsoever with land
I'm
prices.
gonna base myself out of Pine.
The Foster enterprise begins in
Yeah.
Pine.
Dude, I've been thinking about that. Like, if I had a company, what would I name it? Like, it was literally like my company. Like, I don't know. Like, it was just like whatever the fuck I wanted to do. Like, it was just
I don't know. Well, what would your company do? Like, what would the
like
company?
that's the thing. Like, whatever I wanted, just because I'm so rich and baller.
Oh, so it'd be like
This is a
Amazon.
hypothetical. Yeah,
You
yeah. Like,
knew
I'm a
like
Jeff Bezos
Amazon.
type.
Yeah, okay. So like, because Amazon is called Amazon, but it wasn't called that because it was this company. It wasn't named that because it was like this huge monopoly corporation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like, you're wondering if you could name your company in advance, knowing that it would turn into that.
Yeah,
What would you name it? Oh
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I would definitely want to try to go for just like a Foster Incorporated or something.
Foster
I want to get
Incorporated,
my name on there, so it's like,
Sluga something.
yeah, maybe Sluga Inc., Sluga LLC.
See,
I don't know. But you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like I was reading like Spider-Man, or I was watching YouTube videos about Spider-Man comics. I should just read them.
Okay,
I
nice.
really should just read them. Like, what the fuck? But YouTube recaps are free, and they still put like the images of the comics in there, and they like
Yeah, right.
read them like verbatim. Basically, they just don't put the text in, so they can't get copyrighted. So I'm basically reading. It's like an audiobook of a comic.
Oh, so it's like the whole comic book?
Yeah, like basically, it's like a 3 hour just like description of the entire like story arc of like a
Wow.
comic. But yeah, I was watching this one about a Spider-Man story, and like at the end of it, Peter Parker becomes like famous, and like he has his own industry, and it's called Parker Industries. You know what I mean? Like that's so
Yeah. Well, naturally. I mean,
like
Stark
Stark
Industries.
Industries. Yeah, I mean it makes sense, but like I don't know, Sluga Industries. It's not the same.
Why is
Ah,
it not the same? I think it's fine.
no, it's not the same. I don't know. Does it sound like the same to you?
I mean, I think it's comparable. It's a name, an interesting name, and then Industries. Parker isn't even in that. I'd say Sluga is more interesting than Parker. More of a like it sounds more powerful as a corporation than Parker.
Sluga
I wouldn't
Industries.
say it. I don't think it's better than Stark, but that's probably biased because of like the
Yeah,
movie.
Stark is like just like because it's dope, and it's like a word already.
Yeah,
But then like
yeah,
also Tony Stark and
yeah,
Iron Man.
yeah. That's
So
the issue.
yeah, that's the issue there. That's the problem. But what were we talking about before this?
I have no idea. It
Wait, you're
was like,
talking about your friend's cabin in Pine.
oh yeah, and then we were talking about basing your company on Pine.
Yeah, but how is
Your,
you guys
your
just
global corporation is
right?
based
Yeah,
out of
it's
Pine,
based out of Pine, bro.
Pine, Arizona.
Yep, Pine, the homeland. Uh, what else did you guys do in the cabin?
It was like I don't know. We just played board games. Went into Pine and went through antique shops. Okay, everyone. Sorry about that. The recording got messed up somehow. Not sure what happened there, but
Yeah, but what were you
guess
guys?
you don't get to hear what I did. What else I did in Pine.
Yeah, what were you guys doing in Pine?
Um. Uh. Oh, we got some soap. That was it.
Soap?
Yes, we got
Was
some
it like cool
organic.
soap?
Yes, it was. It's. Wait, no, it wasn't. It was from a goat's milk stand, but I don't think it actually has goat's milk in it. Maybe it does actually, but it's like a just some lady's small soap, organic soap
That's pretty
business.
cool.
So it's a bar soap. It smells really good. It's
Yeah,
like the
is it
best
like good
smelling
soap?
soap. What?
Does it like work well?
Yeah, that's a good soap. It's also a huge bar. Like, I hate when the soap bars are really tiny because then
Mm-hmm.
they just break. You know,
Yeah.
you run them down to their thickness until there's a certain point
Yeah, is it like a brick
in
of
the use
soap?
of a soap bar where it just breaks and then you're screwed, even though there's still more soap.
Yeah.
It's annoying. So this bar was like, like a like a cube almost, and that's
That's
nice
cool.
because
Yeah.
currently I've been using it for several weeks now, and currently it's now the size of a normal bar that you just bought.
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's dope.
it was called like Cactus Cowboy something.
Cactus Cowboy. That's a cool name for soap. Dude,
Yeah.
there was a time where I was like, I should make soap and sell it
It
for
seems
like a
pretty
week. I was
lucrative.
like, yeah, I was like, like, here's the three things I think are like the best like side hustles.
All right.
The first one is like inland seafood farming.
What?
So like shrimp farming, for example, extremely
Okay.
low overhead, like huge profit because you
Why do
can
you
just
know
get.
this? Do you know this, or are you making it up?
Yeah,
And then
no,
if
this is
what?
real. Like,
Why do you know it?
I don't know, man. Like, I got a lot of info. Some of it relevant, others not. I guess.
Get a lot of context.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw this on like a Twitter post a while ago, and then I went like down a rabbit hole about like why like if like shrimp farming and like farming other like seafood inland is like lucrative, and it hugely is, especially for shrimp, because you could just get like two like backyard pools that you can just the setup ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can just make them live in there, and that's like $500, like, or maybe like 1,000. All right, let's say 3,000 like dollars into it, you know, to
Okay.
begin, and then
Sure.
you can just sell these like fresh shrimp to like all the restaurants around town, and they're gonna eat it up, and you can charge whatever the fuck you want, because no one else is farming shrimp.
Because so that's the importance of the inland part is because
Yeah,
there's no other shrimp farms nearby.
yeah, you got the freshest shit, bro. Doesn't matter
Okay.
if it was grown in a pool.
It's still fresh. Well, I mean, to some people it might, but I bet it won't matter as much as it being freshly killed, rather than shipped from the
Yeah,
coast.
yeah. And then
Okay.
like if you really get going, then you can get like super fancy with it, and you can actually get like some sweet digs for your shrimp. You know what I'm
You
saying?
can, yeah, you can invest, you can buy a little building, buy some land for whatever the price
In
of land is.
Pine,
Land in Pine. It's the beginning of Sluga Industries.
Sluga Industries, shrimp farming is our number one
Inland It's like Amazon
category.
started as a an online bookstore, and Sluga Industries started as an
A
inland
shrimp
shrimp farm.
farming company. Eat your heart out, Jeff Bezos. I'm in industries you didn't even know were a thing. Anyways, but yeah.
What are the other two?
Like the other. Well, oh fuck, what was the second one? I
Well,
forgot
with
what it's like.
soap, right?
What? Oh
Soap
yeah,
is
like
one of them.
soap. I feel like soap is pretty lucrative, because it doesn't really take soap and like soap slash like candles.
Yeah, yeah, candle. I was just thinking
I'd
candles.
put them in the same category, kind of.
Yeah,
I don't know
because you can
why.
just throw whatever the heck you want into that stuff and
Yeah,
cook it and just
it's
there
all
you
about the
go.
marketing with the soap and the
Yeah,
candles.
you
You
make it look fancy.
yeah. So that's I don't think and like I don't think marketing at a base level, at least with like soap and shit, is that hard. You know what I mean?
No. I mean, you get a lot of point, like just the stand I went to, is probably not as,
Yeah,
organic and fancy as it seems, but it just seems so because there's a stand on the side of the road that says organic
exactly.
soap
Like
in Pine. You
you
pick
just
your location, you
yeah,
pick,
in Pine, dude. Like
yeah,
that's why we're basing in Pine.
like you can definitely just order that soap that I got online, and
And
I
then
might do that,
I'm gonna
but
take the leftover carcasses of the shrimp and make them into soap. Shrimp soap.
shrimp soap.
Shrimp soap.
What is?
I'm gonna put some like bullshit on the back talking about how like the antioxidants that are present in the shrimp tails are some of the most hardy like part of the shrimp, but we don't eat it and we don't like so like it
Nothing is
absorbs through our
wasted.
skin or whatever in the shrimp soap.
Yeah. Do you like eating shrimp?
I love shrimp, bro.
I love shrimp too. Do you eat the like if you get a shrimp prepared like not a whole shrimp but just the tail with the actual tail on or like the meat with the tail on it? Do you eat the tail?
No.
Okay.
Who
I've
eats the
never I
tail? Yeah.
what?
Does anyone eat the tail?
I eat the tail.
You eat the tail?
Yeah, it's crunchy.
What?
It's yummy. You just eat
That's
it's so much. All right, it kind of just came about because I hated having to take the tail off every single
yeah.
time I wanted to eat a shrimp. So I just eat the whole thing and it's fine. I
That's
mean,
nuts, dude.
I
What?
figure if the otters can do it, I can too. If the otters can eat like an entire shrimp
All
with all
right.
the tail on, I
I
can eat a
guess.
little tail. Sure, maybe I won't digest it, but like that doesn't it's not gonna kill me or anything.
That's
It
so
hasn't
funny.
yet.
That's dope. You heard it here first. The tail is the best part of the shrimp, according to
It
Daniel.
adds some crunch to it. I'm telling the only issue is you have to be careful about it like stabbing your mouth or like
You
your
gotta chew
gums or something.
thoroughly.
That's the sucky part.
Yeah,
But
and you don't and you people you don't want to do that. That's why you gotta buy shrimp soap. That way you get all the best parts. You get all the best parts of the shrimp, and none of the hassle.
you don't need to worry about taking the tail off because we do it for you and we send you the shrimp meat and then soap separately.
Yeah,
You get
that
your
is
shrimp
such a good business plan.
and your shrimp soap.
Like, wouldn't that be like kind of fun? Like, if you're looking at the internet and you see like, because they have those like delivery meats and shit.
Yeah,
If I do some like delivery shrimp
with
shit
soap.
with some soap that is made out of the shrimp
I
tails,
think this hinges on the soap being good
good
because shrimp soap, just if you call it that, no one's gonna want to buy
shrimp soap.
it. I
uh,
just can't imagine that being appealing to anyone.
oh my
Like rub
god,
yourself down with some shrimp shells, then ground up into a.
Captain Jumbo's organic soap,
That's better.
and the
But wait, so
mascot
what
is a
is?
shrimp.
Can you even? The question is, can you make soap out of? We're
I'm
saying you're
pretty
gonna
sure
make
you
soap
can
out of
make
the
soap out
shells.
of literally anything.
Just
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you can.
like what is the? I'm gonna look at what is the active ingredient in soap, in bar soap. Let's see what you need.
Yeah,
Salt of a fatty acid.
I could get that from shrimp.
Shrimp, can you make? Well, wait. What if I just look up shrimp soap? What if it's already been made? We're
I'm gonna
done.
be so pissed
Shrimp soap.
if it's already a thing.
Soap bargain. I'm not seeing anything immediately.
Let's
Oh, wait. Shrimp
go.
soap. Hold on. Oh no, shrimp soup. That's shrimp soup.
Shrimp soup. Nice.
Sushi soap. Yeah, we're good. It's not been made.
Dude, let's go. Watch out, Pine. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? Pine, Arizona. Sluga Industries. Shrimp soap.
Shrimp soap and meats.
Shrimp, meat, and soap.
Yeah. Inland shrimp, meat, and soap.
And then I'll take over the world.
I mean, it's just a stepping. It's just the
It's
starting
just a
point. Then
stepping
you'll branch out
stone.
into space exploration and oil and all the other big ones. You need to.
Exactly. There's a lot of money in the shrimp industry. That's something people forget.
Yep.
No,
It's something that everyone has forgotten because no one on the internet has come up with it.
exactly.
No one's even realized the potential of shrimp soap.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Also, like shrimp, wild shrimp, the number of wild shrimp is going down like extremely fast. So
Is it really?
if I can corner this shrimp farming market, then I will become a tycoon of the modern world, at least in the seafood.
In the inland seafood market. Well, yeah, I guess if wild populations decline, then-
Yeah, pretty sure that's a fact. I don't know, might not be. Heard
that's
it,
as far as we get on the I'm Hungry podcast
heard it
most
a
of the time.
while ago. Heard it a while ago.
Pretty sure it's a fact.
Yeah, you can look it up yourself.
Yeah, you guys can find it up.
That's what the modern age is about, dude. Doing your own research.
Okay, that brings. Hold on. That I just had an organic chemistry test yesterday, and organic chemistry is like the whole like reason the class is hard for people is you have to memorize all like the reagents and stuff,
Yeah.
and you have to memorize. Oh, there was some really dumb thing. Oh yeah, for this test we had to memorize the pKa values of different acids or different. Not even they're not even. Some of them were terrible acids, but some different compounds. And the pKa, for those of you who don't know, it's like basically a measure of how strong an acid is, and it's determined experimentally. You can't always just reason it out by looking at the molecule. So you just have to memorize the number. You're memorizing numbers and putting them to compounds. And I think that is the dumbest thing ever to have to memorize that stuff because all of that, maybe in ye olden days when we were practicing alchemy and whatever, and you could only be respected if you knew your pKa's. But today you can just if you're you can be a professional organic chemist, and if you won't forget an pKa, no one's gonna fire you. You just look it up real quick and you've got it. You don't even need to memorize any of them because you can look all it up. You don't need to memorize the reactions because you can just look. I mean, technically you should like learn that they exist, but once you learn that, you can just look it up. If you forget, oh, how do I make this from this? I know there's a reaction. What is it again? Here's the conditions, blah blah blah. Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
That that frustrates me so much
Yeah, we're
because
putting like too much emphasis on like the subject matter and not understanding how to actually like do the process of the science or like the
yeah,
material,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yep. And that's so organic chemistry. That is the one thing I really love the class, but I'm annoyed that that is so much of a focus because that's
Mm-hmm.
what's the most stressful thing. And then when I realize that I've forgotten reactions from like a few tests ago, it annoys me, or it makes me feel like I'm like, oh man, maybe I'm not learning organic chemistry, but that's not true. I am. It's just a crap ton of things to remember, and no one can remember that unless they're all constantly
Mm-hmm.
working on it, which I'm not, and so that's fine. But I do know that they exist.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's like just refreshes me, just briefly, just reminds me that they exist, I'll be like, oh yeah. And that's the opposite of how it is in my chemical engineering classes. Like they're all my exams are open note, open book, whatever. And the hard part about those is they give you a real application prompt. Like you have
Mm-hmm.
this job, you need to solve this problem,
Mm-hmm.
and your employer wants this information, figure it out. And so you can use all the resources that you'd be able to use in a job, maybe a little less, obviously, but the point is for you to be an engineer,
Yeah, that sounds
and
cool.
use the resources you have to create a solution.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, it's just organic chemistry. I love you, but you need to change your focus, I
Yeah,
think.
like I feel like the entirety of like the science world needs to be like renewed, you know what I mean? Like we need to
Yeah.
like refurbish this shit with like some new polish and
Yeah. Especially education, because like you know that professionals are using computational tools and databases and
definitely,
stuff.
definitely. I failed my linear algebra class like earlier this semester. It was an A
Oh
session.
no.
I know, right? But like literally every single homework assignment, it's like don't use the TI Inspire calculator.
Oh
Because
yeah.
like literally the TI Inspire can do like basically everything that you need to do in the class. Like
Yeah.
And it's
And it's
just kind
just
of like weird that it's like yeah, like what you're saying about like how like we need to know how to do it, but it's like we have these tools. Why are we like restricting ourselves? You know what I mean? Why are
yeah,
we not learning how to do it with the tool and
yeah,
learning like why it's working that way? You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Like the lessons where they're like, here's what's happening, and that's great. But then when they test you and say you can't, or when they don't tell you about things like, functions on a calculator, or mathematic computational stuff, right? When they don't tell you about those things, they don't tell you how to use those things, and they just tell you do this by hand with your memory. No one works that way anymore. Like professionals are using
Yeah.
all of the resources. Like that's the whole. There's like it's the information age, and it's like even my research professor, like he wrote, he got asked to write like a review of like 3 grand challenges that are in the field of heterogeneous catalysts. Um, and
Yeah.
one of them is like we need to continue to increase our capacity to do computational discover, because basically like the point is to figure out new catalysts that do stuff.
Yeah.
And one of his points was we have these computational tools, let's put them to work discovering catalysts for us. Let's put machine learning to work and stop, by hand trying to figure out a catalyst using a bunch of experiments and years of research. Let's just have a computer give us a bunch of them in a very short amount of time with very little investment.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of stuff we need to be doing, and especially in like lower education, or like middle school and high school, they've put a lot of focus on like doing stuff by hand and learning how it works, which is great, but
At
they
that
need to
level, you know what
start
I mean? At
what?
that level though,
Yeah,
because it's like
right. That's
you're
great at
doing
that level,
like
but they should also at least introduce us to things like computational stuff and like let us know it's okay to forget this stuff in a
oh yeah
year.
yeah yeah
Like that's something important, because sometimes it feels like you fail if you or you. It's like, did I even take that class if you don't remember something from it like a
yeah
year
like the
later?
whole,
But
like are you smarter than a fifth grader?
yeah,
It's like yeah, all those adults are smarter than a fifth grader. They
yeah.
just aren't in fifth grade doing fifth grade math.
Yeah.
Like
Like if I was asked to tutor a fifth grader right now, I'm sure I would be kind of baffled at the way they're teaching, like some of the stuff they're doing, just because it's just the way they teach it, or like the subject, and just
yeah, or it's like you look at
formally.
a class and you're like, oh, or like you hear someone else is taking a class you've already taken, you're like, oh, that you don't like use anything in that class that ever
Yeah.
again. It's like,
Or in the reverse is like you hear someone talking about it and you feel bad because you're like, wow, what they're talking about I don't remember at all, or like I remember it
yeah, that
vaguely but I
too.
could not do that,
Yeah,
you know. Which is, and neither of those are, well, the first one is correct, right? The you'll never use that again. That's fine, or that's usually correct, because the way they're using it is like the by memory, by hand method.
yeah,
And you're not going to do that. You need to know that the solutions exist, and just how to find, and that they can be found, and then you can look up how to find them. And if you need to do it, if it's something that can only be done by hand, you can look up how to do it by hand again. You just need to know that the stuff exists that way.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. We just need like we need like one big compendium of like mathematical and scientific like terms and constants and equations of like literally like not really like explaining it, just like this is this, this is this, this is this.
Yeah. Because you can find that stuff. I wonder if, I mean, that maybe exists, but like you can find things in different fields like that, that
Yeah,
give you stuff, but they're not usually not complete
I
as far
want
as
there
I.
to be one big one. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a dictionary.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like Wikipedia a little bit, but like more concise, just like
Scientific
for
encyclopedia.
engineers. It's the whole thing we are talking about with the engineers. Well, like everyone will be engineers with databases on their wrists or
Wrists.
whatever, and they
Yeah,
can.
that would be so dope. Age of
Yeah.
engineering.
The age of engineering once again.
The I never got to the third best side hustle.
Oh yeah.
The third best side hustle, I think, is like any skill that you can attain with like muscle memory or like you get what I'm saying? Like if you can like perform a service or like do or like entertain So like guitar, for example, like if you know guitar, I feel like
Yeah.
that's a really good side hustle if you ever just need like some extra cash. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Like
walking.
music or art, painting or
Yeah, if you can
graffiti
like
or
if you can
some like
create something, if you can create
yeah,
something, then that's good.
yeah, or even like something simple, like a simple house, yeah, like a simple service to
Yeah, if you
somebody.
can
Like
like
I'll wash
build a
your
little bit,
house,
like
and
if you're a carpenter,
yeah,
like a little bit of
like if you just
woodworking. I don't know, like just get
yeah,
some skill. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because then
I
at the
feel like
end of the
that's
day, it's like if you have no money and you don't have anything, at least you can have the skill to get you
true.
money.
That's true. Speaking of getting money, I had an interview for a potential summer internship
No
on
way.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Facts.
So I really hope I get that because that's like my only prospect.
Yeah. What is it?
Um, it's Carollo Engineers. It's a water engineering company, so they do water treatment and they do a ton of stuff. I actually like at first I just applied because it was through somebody from the MSA, the Math and Science Academy at Saguaro High School, who my
Yeah.
mom did a landscape for, and then she found out that the husband of that couple works for that company, and so I applied, and he put in a good word for me, and then I got the interview. But then as I was preparing for the interview, I like researched their company a lot more, and they do a lot of really cool stuff. Like a lot, they're focused on sustainability and like it's like a private water engineering firm.
That's cool.
So they provide water for everything from like Intel, like semiconductor places, like they need cooling
Yeah.
systems and stuff. They do that and they provide water for that. And then they've done water for like an entire part of Seattle or something like that. Like they
Really?
had a whole and they yeah, it seems really cool and they have a really cool program for interns and
Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty dope, man. Yeah, I need to
Yeah.
I need to start applying for more internships.
Yeah. I really want to like I want to do some stuff. I want to do actual engineering work that's not in a classroom, and get paid
Yeah.
for it, obviously.
You
And
get wait, you
so
getting paid, yeah?
yeah, it would be paid. Yeah, I
That's
really
dope.
hope they liked me enough.
That's dope.
Like, yeah, we'll see.
All
Like
right, best
two
of
or three
luck.
weeks,
I
I
mean,
think.
obviously, when are you gonna find out?
2 or 3 weeks, I think, is what they said.
And when did you have it? Like just like
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
So,
That's cool.
yep, got a
Yeah.
while. But I mean, like, I made them laugh like several
Nice.
times, and
Nice.
they like I said things. There were some moments where I thought I rather than just talking about my skills, I showed them that I'm like a nice person, or like I showed them here's who I am. So like there was one. They asked me several technical questions, and then the last person was like, "Okay, I'll just give you like they all asked the technical questions, so I'll just give you an easy one or whatever." It's like, "Did you watch the basketball game or are you following basketball or something?" And so I was like, oh shoot, because I don't follow
Yeah.
basketball at all. But I wanted to engage with the question somewhat. So I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I'm following the women's team, U of A, because they're like really good
Yeah.
this year, last year, and this year, which is also not entirely true. I basically just know that they're good. I have not seen any of their games, but
Facts.
it was okay. I didn't get called out on it because they were like, "Did you watch the game yesterday?" And I was like, "Actually, if I'm being totally honest, I was practicing for this interview yesterday at that time," and that was entirely the truth. I was doing a practice interview with my professor at the exact time that
Yeah.
the basketball game was happening. Well, and they were all like, "Oh my gosh, that's so sweet," or like that. That's the kind of the reaction I
Very.
got. It was like,
Yeah. You
"Aw." So
like
hopefully.
thanks for preparing.
Yeah. So hope like they were all really cool people too. Like they were nice, and it wasn't like an interrogation. It was like it
Yeah.
was a conversation. So I'm hoping that kind of stuff gives me an edge. But
I think it will. I think from what you're telling me, it sounded like they liked you.
I think they did. Yeah. It just depends on whether like
They liked
I
you
don't know.
more than other people.
Yeah. Like I mean, I just have no idea how I stack up. Like I hope basically I want to be impressive enough and I want to be cool enough. Like a
Yeah.
good enough person. Like somebody they was like a
Well,
kid
I
they'd
mean, your
want to
resume
have on
probably
their
looks
team.
pretty like insane, right? You got like all the SEC orchestra shit. You got
Yeah, I mean, I talked about that. They were like, so you played piano? And I was like, yeah, I talked about steel pan, and I talked about being a piano soloist for the SEC orchestra with the Chopin stuff. And they were like, what's your favorite composer? And I talked about that.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I feel like I gave them a good picture, especially of the stuff in my resume. They asked me questions about that mostly, and I gave them a good picture of what I did. And there was a couple of things about I mentioned what did I say? I mentioned something about using solid or like CADing. Well, because it was on my resume, and they asked me something that was kind of related to that. So I mentioned it in passing, and then someone else, one of the other ones, asked me, "So you mentioned, solid or CADing. Is that something you're really into, or like, would you want to do that here?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." Like I talked about how I love like CADing stuff and 3D printing, and I gave specific examples because you're supposed to get to a real story. But like they basically they were like, do you like doing this? And I was like, yeah, I love doing that. And they were like, oh, that's so cool. And so hopefully that was kind of the stuff they're looking for.
Yeah, I think it sounds like you kind of hit it out of the park. I'm pretty optimistic, but
All right.
we'll see. We'll
Okay.
see.
Thank you. I appreciate it because I'm having basically my doubt is like, did I say because I could have said more about what things I've designed, but I really only talked about this one part on a catapult, the catapult from physics.
Yeah,
Oh, like, yeah, but we'll see.
that your
Anyway,
catapult was dope though.
but I didn't talk about anything except that it was a centripetal catapult. And no, actually, okay, I talked about the one I made in middle school, and I was like, I made it out of leather that time. And then for this big one, I wanted to make it more robust, so I designed it in SolidWorks, and I talked about how I designed it and how I 3D printed it. I didn't really talk about anything else about the function of the catapult, but and that's the stuff that I feel like I could have. I could have said I also 3D printed the pulley that was actually my dad, but I 3D printed some other parts on the thing that I designed in SolidWorks. I actually designed the whole catapult in SolidWorks, but I just in the moment was kind of just focused on that one part, and then we moved on. So
Yeah,
it was probably natural, but after the fact, you second guess yourself.
I think you're chilling.
All right, I appreciate that.
Freaking, I think I might. I got a lot of plans for this summer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I
Well,
have a lot of ideas. Like I want to do. Like I want to. So my like, there's this guy in the frat, and he like lives next to a guy who owns a landscaping business, and like he'll pay you cash like 115 a day, like
wow,
to come out there and like help him, like just work
that's
for
cool.
him basically. And so I might do that, but I also need to do summer school,
Yeah.
and I also kind of want to take a masseuse training course.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
that'd be
cool.
cool. Like I was like, because my girlfriend says that I'm really good at massages. She's always asked me to like give her massages and stuff. She's like, your hands are so like
So you want to be trained.
good. She was the one that brought it up. She's like, you should like become a masseuse. So and yeah, that like and in my head that falls under the skills category, right?
Yeah, the lucrative skills
The
category.
lucrative skills because it's my hands, right? Unless I get my hands chopped off, I'm always
Yeah,
gonna be able to be like, hey, bro, you want a massage? Like 15.
yeah, that
I'm a state certified masseuse.
yeah, that actually, yeah, that sounds good. Like if somebody just random, well, obviously you'd probably do it in a more professional setting than just asking some random person. But like, just hypothetically, if you ask some random person, it sounds a lot more appealing if you say I'm state certified than if it's just like, hey, you want a massage?
Yeah.
So yeah, you have a skill, and then you can make it official.
Facts. How much should I charge?
I have no clue. Have you gotten a massage?
Yeah, like 85 an hour.
What?
How much do masseuses charge?
$85 an hour?
I don't know. How much is it like a regular? I'll look it up later.
Well, now I'm interested because if you genuinely think it's $85 an hour, then I want to be a masseuse too.
Yeah, but you gotta think too. You're only probably giving massages for like an hour, or two at a time.
But what if you get a steady stream,
If you're
then as soon
hitting
as you
like
finish one,
appointments
you can
like
do the
all
other one.
day, every day.
Yeah. How much does a masseuse make?
I'm looking this up too.
Jeez, 51 per hour is what I've got on Indeed.
It seems like it's very like crazy because I'm looking at on ZipRecruiter. It says 28K to 110K per year.
Wow, that is a huge range.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It probably depends on how much traffic your business can get.
Yeah.
Because if you're like if
I'm
you're
not
sitting
trying to
around
be
the
like a
garden,
masseuse though. I'm just trying to be like some pocket change.
a freelance, a pro bono masseuse.
Exactly. I think we're sitting at like 45 right now.
Yeah, we could probably. I feel like we've reached
An ending point.
yes.
All right, what should we name this one?
I liked the stuff about the inland shrimp farming.
Inland shrimp farming.
Well, what it could be Sluga Inland Shrimp Farm and Soap or something like that. It's shrimp, something like
Oh
that.
wait, it was like Captain Jumbo's
Yeah.
shrimp and soap.
But you got to get the inland in there somewhere. That's what makes
Inland
it.
or Sluga. Okay, Sluga Industries, inland shrimp farming and soap. I don't know. Fuck.
I like Captain Jumbo too. Like, can we get that in there as well?
Sluga
Yeah.
Industries Captain Jumbo shrimp and soap.
What if it's like, well, what do companies do? What do labels say when it's like, a brand name that's owned by a bigger
I
corporation?
think they just put their logo on it.
Yeah.
It's like owned
We'd
by
say like
the
by Sluga
trademark.
Industries.
What about like the three most lucrative side hustles?
That's actually a really good like YouTube
Yeah.
title name. But you have to do like a bunch of capital letters in there.
Yeah.
The three most lucrative side hustles.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Yeah, okay, that works.
That would be
Oh,
funny.
I feel like we're
We're losing a good title with the
yeah,
Sluga
with the Captain
Industries.
Jumbo. I feel like it's a good YouTube title, but we're losing the Captain Jumbo.
Captain Jumbo's three most
Yeah.
lucrative side hustles! Exclamation point! Question mark! Exclamation point!
Yeah.
Yeah, boom. There we go. All right, cool. Thank you for listening, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye.